Obviously, having cerebral palsy comes with its day-to-day struggles. One of the struggles is walking while talking, which is what I'm doing right now, is to prove a point. It's hard for me to concentrate while I walk and talk. I generally get shortness of breath, so I'm going to take a seat right now so I can actually concentrate on what I'm saying. So there's obviously other struggles besides walking and talking. Standing while concentrating is really hard for me to do. So it's hard for me to give public speaking because I concentrate on standing and my feet hurt. So that's always been a struggle, simply because cerebral palsy. So another thing is cerebral palsy is it makes it hard to run. That's probably pretty obvious because it's not easy for me to walk at all times. So it's very difficult to run, but I can do it, but I don't like to do it. But fortunately, I've never been faced in a situation where I've ever been faced to have to run from something in order to save my life. So I mean, that's an advantage of living in the United States, which I always encourage people to be happy about, that they do live in a great country if you live in the United States, or a country similar to it that has a great military that backs the country, and also has great people for the most part living in the country, that you don't have to run, that people with disabilities, mobility disabilities, do not have to run in order to survive. Because there are some countries out there where running is a central part of survival. It's not in the United States. It can be useful, but it's not. So lifting around 20 pounds, I can lift and walk at the same time, but over 20 pounds it's really difficult for me to do that. Like 30 pounds and walking at the same time, it's hard. I'll probably fall down a few times if I do that, because sometimes I am faced to do that. So it's hard for me to do that. So I generally, if it's 30 pounds or over, fall down. I can probably lift 100 pounds if I'm just standing still and lifting it like to a certain point, but I can't really walk with much weight over 20 pounds. It's hard for me to walk and carry something at the same time because my balance is pretty bad. So that's another thing, the balance is bad. When I get up from sitting down for a long period of time, my legs are always stiff. It's hard for me to stand up and walk. Generally, I'll have to stretch out for about 30 seconds before I can walk. Another thing is, if I walk for a long period of time, I tend to get blisters because the way I walk on my feet is not like the average person would walk, and it's not the way your feet were intended to be on the ground the way mine are. So I mean, I generally get blisters, and another thing I get a lot is ingrown toenails. Obviously, I got mine removed a few years ago, but that's something you'll face if you have cerebral palsy. And this video is intended, for people who, either have children who have cerebral palsy, that are young, to know what they're probably going to face, or if you're younger and haven't faced everything, or if you can just relate to the things that I've gone through. Another thing is, I probably walk around 1.7 or 1.8 miles per hour. The reason I calculated that was because I probably walk about on average half as fast as somebody else does. Obviously I don't use a cane or a walker unless I'm in the woods, because walking in the woods is, it's difficult for me to walk on unusual terrain like rocks or roots, because it's hard for me to lift my feet up. But like if I'm walking at a place like a department store like Walmart, I walk pretty good. I walk better, and I can really concentrate on walking as good as I can. But if I'm in the woods, it's really hard for me to concentrate. I'm thinking, I'm looking at all the barriers in front of me, and but the average person walks around 3.1 miles per hour, so I probably walk around 1.7 or 1.8, probably a little faster than half what the average person walks.